Hey guys and girls, welcome back to Dark Earth Customs. My name's Joshua. Today we're going to do things a little bit different. You're going to be able to get to see a couple of my other vehicles here. And I'm actually going to be doing a quick video on my Charger, because I finally got some new windshield washer nozzles to replace the busted ones that weren't allowing any spray on my windshield anymore. So why don't I go ahead and introduce you to my vehicles. This truck behind me here, this is my 98 Dodge Ram with a 5.2 Magnum in it. Her name is Matilda. She's the American Monster. This car right here is the car in question. This is my 08 Charger RT Daytona clone. And this is what we're going to be working on today. She is a real RT, 5.7 Hemi. Puts out about 345 horsepower in street. Probably maybe 450 in race mode. She is quite a fun little toy. Not many issues with her. We do got a little bit in the spring to work on. I got some front end work that has to be done to it. But right now, it just needs washer nozzles so my washer can spray. Alright, we're back. I went ahead and moved the car down by the barn. A little bit more light down here than up by the house. It is February, so the sun is still quite low up here in Minnesota. But it was 39 degrees in town today. That is almost t-shirt weather. This should be fairly simple. All it's a matter of is pulling out. I already pulled some out just to see what it would take. These little 3-pronged hood clips, or insulation clips for the hood. Behind this insulation are my windshield washer nozzles, and I got new nozzles in mail here, made in China, so I guess we'll see just exactly how good they are. I at this point am not willing to pay $50 a nozzle from Dodge. That's what these cost, roughly $45 to $50 a nozzle. That's outrageous. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and pull the rest of these clips out so I can get this insulation out of the way, and I can get to the nozzles which are inside the hood here. Let's go ahead and get started on that. Again, this should be a fairly easy job, unless I go ahead and break all these clips out trying to get them out of the hood. Then it won't be such an easy job. And of course, I have a clip puller, but I can't find it. It's always the tool that you need the most when you're ready to work on something. You can't seem to figure out where you put it last. And yes, I have places where I put my tools. And it should be in there, but it's not. So, let's try to get my needle nose in here. And I heard that one broke. Looks like got some pine needles up in there. Maybe I can just get away with trying to pull a handful of these out so I don't have to take them all down. Hopefully, maybe I can do that. I imagine there might be some sort of tool or something that might release these clips. But if there is, I don't have it. Now you can see here, the clip has 2 little prongs on the inside of it. And those prongs, once they go inside the hood, they flare out. These are exceptionally prone to breaking when you try to get them back out, which looks like is what I'm doing right now. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is just pull them all down. I'll order some new ones, and then I will go ahead and just install those when I get them. Won't need to make a video on that because I imagine there's absolutely no reason in anyone wanting to see me putting my hood clips back up. I sure know I wouldn't want to watch that. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and I'll break these out. Order some more. Oh yeah, looks like we got some pine needles in here. Might have had a rodent or two being out here out in the wild. They love getting up in warm places like these hood insulators. There we go. So that's down, and this is supposed to be just a fairly straightforward job, and it's just a matter of pulling the old nozzles out and putting the new nozzles in and hooking the washer fluid back up to them. The problem is I'm not sure if I got any washer fluid in here or not. So I guess we'll see. These right here and right here are the spray nozzles that you see on the outside of the hood here and there. That's what sprays washer fluid out of your reservoir and onto your windshield so you can keep the dirt off your windshield, which recently has been quite the chore for me since I don't have them. That usually means stopping somewhere and either washing it at a gas station, or when there's no one around, you stop and you take some snow and you rub it all over your windshield and hope for the best. And speaking of hoping for the best, let's try to get these out. Now, just like the wonderful hood insulation clips, these also have, if I can get it out of the packaging, they come with little rubber insulators to keep the moisture out between here and the hood to keep it from rusting. But they also themselves have little retaining plastic bushings. So you got to try to pinch those and push it out of the hood. And well, that was easy enough. That one's out. I really hope these work. I mean, I didn't pay a whole lot. I think it was like maybe $8 or $10. A far cry from the $100 that would have cost me for 2 of them from Dodge. So, I don't know if you can see this right now, but now that it's out, you can see there's a keyhole shape here in the hood. And that's what the new washer goes through. So you take the insulator, and I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but there's a flat side to the insulator and a side that's got just a little tiny dish to it. And that dish is going to be facing upwards for the nozzle to sit in. Now, these insulators too are not always the most enjoyable. That's why they're super rubbery to try to get it on and over these little arms. Just trying to get it over where it needs to go, and then what you do, basically you just shove it back in the hood. Now let's hope it fits. Voila, right in place. That was easy enough. Let's go for the other one. Now, it's not quite springtime yet up here. It's a far cry from summer up here in Minnesota. So, the insulator isn't a super big necessity. I mean, it helps to keep heat in the engine bay during winter, and helps to keep the heat from cooking your hood during the summer. I'm not too concerned about winter. I am concerned about summer. The paint on this car is still in good shape. I will be taking in a later episode. We're gonna do a paint buff on this car to bring the color back. As you can see, the paint's in good shape. It's really dirty right now, but the paint, when it's clean, is in good shape. But I want to see if I can polish it out even further. So that's going to be a later episode. That's why we don't want to cook our hood. So I'll be ordering those clips here, maybe this weekend still. And we'll go from there. Like I said, I'm not going to bother you with putting that in. But I'll get that put in. These will get put in. And let's get my windshield washer system put back into place. Come on. There you go. And violator number 2 is out. And I'm not sure if you noticed, no more hair sticking out from the side of my ears. I got the mop chop. You usually hear, a lot of us here that live in the northern hemisphere, i.e. Minnesota and all the rest of these ice cold states, usually kind of let our hair grow out over winter, because having short hair and smooth face is kind of detrimental to the ice cold 40 below zero temperatures. But now as spring is coming, decided to cut the hair down, get rid of all the facial hair as much as I can for now, because spring is coming, and that's just what we do up here. All right. I suppose you guys are kind of wondering, well, you're putting these new sprayers on, but where's the hose? And you're right, where's the hose? It's in the car. The hose has rubber fittings on the end of it that, if not warm, is not going to go in properly. So I have it sitting in the car just staying warm. Meanwhile, I try to get this little insulator on. Once the insulator's on and it's in place, then I can go back into the car and get the hose that hooks up to this sprayer, these sprayers. And we'll see if I have any windshield washer fluid left in the tank. And hope that these Chinese sprayers actually do what they're supposed to do. And there's number 2. Okay. Well, that was easy enough. Oh, and by the way, the carriers, UPS, FedEx, and UPS have been dropping off a lot of stuff in my house. A lot of car parts. Bet you can't guess what that's for. Got a whole bunch of car parts for a Thunderbird sitting inside my house. I got a full gasket set. I got new piston rings. I got radiator cap. I got a gas cap. I got a water pump. Let's see, what else? A new oil pump. Basically, I now have almost all the things I need to have on site for that engine once it comes out. Get the engine out, and then I'll have everything on hand to do what I need to do. Get the engine out, take it apart, get the pistons out, pulling out the cylinders, because I know that's going to need to be done. Pulling out the cylinders, get new piston rings, put in the new pistons. Hopefully I don't need a new crankshaft. I'm still going to have to order bearings for the crankshaft, both main and rod bearings. The rod bearings are what the pistons use to connect to the crankshaft, and the main bearings are what the crankshaft uses to connect to the block to hold it in place and keep everything nicely lubricated with the oil inside the engine. So once the engine's out, we'll get started on that. I think I'm going to be making another video here this weekend, probably tomorrow. I haven't decided which way to go with that yet. I'm considering, because of the temperature, just I need to get that engine to break free. And I think I might start by undoing the valve train, taking out the rocker assembly on each side, so there's no compression on the heads anymore. Because when your crankshaft turns around, it turns your timing chain, which also turns your camshaft. The camshaft then turns moves your lifters up and down in their valleys, and moves your push rods up into the valve train, which opens and closes your exhaust and intake valves, which lets gas in and exhaust out of the engine. This all is what makes power. I will explain it in greater detail once I'm at that point. But by removing the valve train in the heads, the whole rocker assembly, and the push rods, that will allow me to see, is the engine seized in the head where it's not letting the valves open and close? Or is the engine seized in the lower half, or in the piston cylinders? Is there rust in the cylinders not allowing the rings to move up and down? I would prefer having just seized valve train in the head. A lot easier to fix. But I'm also assuming, since the spark plugs were left out of this engine, I'm willing to bet the seizure is actually inside the cylinders. But we'll start somewhere. Start there, see if that gets rid of the problem. If it does, wonderful. If not, that's going to be taking the engine out. It's got to come out anyway and rebuild it. The car's got to go up on jack stand so I can get the transmission back and out. I'm not taking those two out together. I don't have anything strong enough to pull those two out together, so it'll be unbolt the transmission, move it back so I can take the engine, hook it up to my hoist, and lift it out that way. That should be fun, considering you're supposed to be able to turn the crankshaft around to get to all the torque converter bolts. But since I can't turn the crankshaft around, the torque converter that's part of the transmission is going to have to come out with the engine. You know, these are the problems you run across. Unless you want to spend tens of thousands of dollars, you know, 10, 20, 30, $50,000 on a fully restored car. I don't. I actually enjoy this. You know, it's cool to go out and just buy a classic car and drive it around, but you never had your hand in it other than on the steering wheel. The joy of having a classic car is actually building that classic car and enjoying it that way. So let me go ahead and get the hose and we'll see what's up. Alrighty, this is the little hose that connects the two together. And all you do is just take it, push it on there like that, and it's connected. Just that simple. Okay, now let's try the other side. That side popped up. Sometimes that happens. Okay. Well, we'll see if that shoots a little low. If it does, because it's a little, it's maybe a millimeter high on the outside. But it looks like it's still there intact. Alright. And then we just work our work that hose in. Now that one doesn't want to go in, so that should be fun. When it's still this cold, rubber does start getting less pliable the faster it cools down. Okay, surprised that didn't break. Alright, it's all connected. So now we got that line connected to that line. This line runs down the hood, down inside here, and down into my washer pump and reservoir. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and see if I actually have any fluid. I don't think I do. And it's so strange because I thought I had fluid in here. So I hope the tank isn't cracked. That would cause me a lot more grief to have to replace that tank. But it would give me another episode on my channel. So let's take a look. Always check for tools. Cross your fingers, everybody. All right, that worked out great. It looks like I still have fluid in there. I did see this one. You leakies. Looks like they're leaking a little bit. I can deal with it. It's better than not being able to see. Safety is much more important than convenience at any time. This one, though, I did see is shooting a little lower than that one is. And I think that's because I said this one looks like it's sitting about a millimeter. A millimeter too high in the front here compared to the other. But you know what? It didn't really matter a whole lot, honestly. For, you know, that one shot up about halfway or so onto the windshield, maybe a little bit further. This one was just under half to a half. So honestly, it's not a big deal. You still allow your windshield to get clean. My windshield was completely clean. I still have spray patterning all the way up here. So that means that the majority of it is spraying where it's supposed to, and you see little dribbles further out. That's how it's going to work. That's what you're going to see. So overall, I'm happy. This will work. And then I'm not sure I'm going to do anything with Thunderbird today. I got some other stuff around the house I got to do today, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. And then I will come out and work on the Thunderbird tomorrow when it's 35, 40 degrees and sunny out. Sun's going down. It's probably about 5 o'clock now-ish. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. And I will see you all later.